It's the best self-help book to cure depression or whatever else people might have in America.
Ukraine, the best self-help book.
Jordan Peterson said to Piers Morgan, Russia's going to win because you can't say no to Putin. And there's some truth to, if you can't say no to someone, that person's going to win. But what he missed is you can't say no to Ukrainians who insist on being free. If Elon and, say, Joe Rogan and some of these other people in Austin, Texas, came here to Ukraine, they would really be inspired, and perhaps they would become more committed to the cause.
The courage of the common folk is how the war is won. Yeah, that's how the war is won. Yeah, that's how the war is won. It's the courage of us common.
I was just watching this an interview, I think from a couple of months ago, with Jordan Peterson speaking with Piers Morgan. And Jordan Peterson was saying that, the famous psychologist, he said, we can't win against Russia because you can never say, Slava Ukraini. The soldiers are saying goodbye to me as they leave the restaurant. Bob, as I speak to you now, we just finished an air alarm here in Kharkiv. Everything is calm. And I'm in a Georgian restaurant, and there's a group of Ukrainian soldiers, and they just handed me one of their patches. It says Donbass, and it has the Ukrainian trident in the shape of a dove.
Nice.
It's just great. It's that type of energy that keeps people going, and the fact that they know that I'm speaking to America is, again, it's always this lifeline. But Jordan Peterson said to Piers Morgan, Russia's going to win because you can't say no to Putin, and there's some truth to, if you can't say no to someone, that person's going to win. But what he missed is you can't say no to Ukrainians who insist on being free. And I really feel that spirit here in Kharkiv, a city that the Russians almost took over in 2014, but the people rose up against it. And we're only 30 miles from the Russian border. And my friend, a civic leader here, Ihor Balalaka, he said to me yesterday, there's two different words for freedom in Ukrainian language. There's svoboda, which is freedom as we all talk about it, freedom or liberty, how we think of it in America and around the world. And then there's a deeper word, and it's called volya. And it means the will to freedom. And that's what Ukrainians have. You can have freedom sort of passively, svoboda, and like we do in America. We live in a free country. But to have volya is to have this deep desire always to be free. And the fact that they have a word for that in Ukrainian, that means that these are people, and so contrary to I think what Jordan Peterson would say, you cannot say no to Ukrainians when it comes to freedom. And that's the deep spirit. That's why they're willing to fight for it and die for it, even as cheerfully as they possibly can.
Is there much talk over there about what Putin said yesterday, that the war is going to take a while, and he was warning again about an increasing risk of nuclear war?
No, those things don't. Those things don't affect the Ukrainians very much. Everyone here knows it's difficult. In fact, yesterday I was speaking with my friend Anton, who's a soldier now. Before the war, he was in IT, had an IT business, and every day he's also been volunteering and helping to evacuate people, Ukrainians, from these gray zones who live in, right at the edge where there's still, there might be Russian soldiers in the forest, and many of these people have been injured. And he was describing, how gruesome it is to see these injuries, things that I don't even want to explain to you in detail as people are driving to work in Chicago. And he said, every night, I said, how do you deal with this? How do you try to keep going? And he said, every night I'm just crying quietly with a little vodka before I go to sleep. And then I get up the next day and we keep going and we keep fighting. And so no matter what we hear from the Kremlin, there are some bad times with horrible strikes right now. This week has been pretty peaceful thanks to the air defense. But it really is this sense of, it's absolutely difficult, but people find ways to keep going, especially, I think, not alone. You keep going together and keep encouraging each other, and remembering that volya, that will to freedom, that will to be free.
We're getting some reports, according to the New York Times this morning. President Zelensky invited Elon Musk to come to Ukraine.
So many Americans support Ukraine fully, but there are a lot of people who question it. They question the expenditure. They question whether or not it's worth it, especially after people are tired of the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. But Elon, who's based in Austin, and so many other Americans based in Austin, they moved to Austin, Texas, because they want freedom. And a lot of them left California. And I think if they really understood just how fiercely free the Ukrainians are, they would even more fully support this. They would see why this fight really matters. If for anyone who wants to be free anywhere in the world, the Ukrainians seem to understand freedom the best, and they live it well. And so I think that's why President Zelensky because sometimes, Elon has tweeted a few times, oh, maybe Ukraine should negotiate.
Right.
And I think if President Zelensky realizes, and I've thought this for a while too, if Elon and say Joe Rogan and some of these other people in Austin, Texas came here to Ukraine, they would really be inspired, and perhaps they would become more committed to the cause.
And to see what's really going on. I mean, it's easy to just say something. Elon Musk, whatever.
Yeah, and Wendy, and everyone that comes here, they find it's such a common conversation with Americans, especially that come here. They find a happiness here when they come to volunteer. They find a purpose, and it's like it's the best self-help book to cure depression or whatever else people might have in America.
Ukraine, the best self-help book. Again, every time I speak to you, I leave with something. So that's it for today. We will talk to you tomorrow. Godspeed, take care, and Joseph Lindsley, thank you so much.
Thank you, Wendy.
As I've said before, Joseph Lindsley, world's most interesting man.
This I find in my garden. It's piece from rocket.
Help us to win in this world.